I've played a lot of MMOs over the years. Some great, some not so great. I've spent time in World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, Rift, Albion Online, and the game that took up years of my life, Dark Age of Camelot. I could keep listing them, but that's not the point. The point is, I know what makes an MMO fun. I've seen what players love, what they hate, and what keeps them coming back. And today we're looking at Tarisland, a game that seems to have none of those things. Jumping into the game was pretty easy. I just linked my Google account and I was ready to go. The only annoying part? It doesn't seem to remember you. It forces you to pick your account in a browser window every time you log in. At least it did with a Google account. I like to watch the intro videos in these reviews to get a sense of the story, but this one didn't explain much. After that, I picked a realm, which is really just the server location, and I moved on to the character selection. Tarisland has the usual character types: warrior, barbarian, mage, paladin, and so on. I ended up choosing the priest. After some quick customizations and picking a name, I was off to the tutorial. And yes, you can skip it, but I like to play through them in these reviews just so I can get a better feel for the game. Right away I noticed something strange. I was already level 18. Oh, and for some reason the game used my Google profile image for my character. Weird choice. But that wasn't the only weird thing. There's something else I need to talk about, but first let's see what it's like to team up with a friend. Grouping up with friends works like it does in most MMOs. You just type their name into the search bar to search for them. But fair warning, the search is case sensitive, so if your friend has a wild name full of random capitals, good luck finding them. Once you do find them, you can send a friend request, and if they accept, you're all set. From there, you can invite them to your team or ask to join theirs, and just like that, your adventure together begins. In most MMOs, when you have a quest, it's presented in one of two ways. The first, which is common in classic MMOs, gives you the name of an NPC or an enemy you need to find along with a general location, like a city or an area just outside of one. This leaves some guesswork for the player, but isn't too hard to figure out. The second method, used in newer MMOs like Tarisland, puts the quest right on your screen and guides you directly to your next objective. Both systems work depending on your playstyle, but a game's objective should be more than just how to complete a quest. The real question is, why am I completing these quests? What do I or the game world gain from them? Those are the questions I wasn't able to answer, and it started from the very beginning. Let's go back to the tutorial. Starting at level 18 felt weird, but even stranger, by the time I finished it, I was level 41. Most MMOs drop you into a starting city with nothing. No gear, no backstory, just a chance to explore, meet NPCs, and figure out why you're here. This kind of setup helps the players connect with the world and gives them a reason to fight. But Tarisland skips all that. Instead, it just throws you straight into questing without any real purpose. It's like going to a friend's house to watch a movie, but they started in the middle. You have no idea what's going on, so it's hard to care. So even if the gameplay is fun, Tarisland never gives you a reason to be invested. Worse yet, when you start looking at the game's mechanics and features, there's nothing that really makes it stand out from other MMOs. You could argue that any MMO offers plenty of gameplay and replayability, but with Tarisland, I'd argue the opposite. Without a deep or meaningful backstory, at least for new players, it's hard to feel connected. The whole time I was clicking my mouse or tapping keys, one question kept popping into my head. Why am I doing this? After finishing a quest, my character would immediately hop on a mount or start running to the next objective, without me controlling it. In most MMOs, there's a natural pause after a fight, a moment to explore, regroup, or just take in the world. Tarisland skips that entirely. Instead, it just pushes you from one task to the next, making exploration feel pointless. At times, it felt less like a game and more like an interactive cutscene, a visual novel with some game-like elements thrown in. Maybe some of this can be tweaked in the settings, but honestly, given that this game was meant to be cross-platform with mobile, I don't think a settings change will fix the core problems with it. And that's because no one is playing this game. In the last 24 hours, Tarisland peaked at just 37 players. Looking back to its Steam launch in October of 2024, there was a small spike in players, but even then the numbers were low. Since then, the average peak player count has dropped to just a few dozen. This is usually the part where I talk about what I liked about the game, but honestly, Tarisland was painful to play. I didn't enjoy it at all. The nicest thing I can say is that the stylized characters and environments look nice, but even that comes with a catch. In cutscenes, both the character and the world look great, but the moment the gameplay starts, there's a huge disconnect between the quality of the player models and the environment around them. Instead of being immersive, it's just distracting. I've already mentioned some of the issues with Tarisland, starting at level 41, the automatic movement between quests, and the odd graphical inconsistencies. But the problems don't stop there. For one, the NPC text bubbles are a mess. Words get cut off because they don't fit on the same line, making it frustrating if you want to read the dialogue instead of listening to the voice acting. Fixing this with dynamic resizing of chat bubbles would have been a basic design decision, but clearly it wasn't. Then there's the snowboarding. Yes, snowboarding, in a fantasy MMO. A couple of quests had me using a snowboard as a traversal mechanic, and I have no idea why. Maybe a dev was really into SSX Tricky that month, but even if snowboarding could fit in an RPG, the mechanics here were bland and added nothing to the experience. And finally, there's one issue that stood out most. Remember when I mentioned my Google account image was showing up in the game? Well, it gets worse. When you log in, the game also displays your full Google account profile name on screen. For most people, this might not be a big deal, but for content creators or streamers who want to keep their real names private, this is a serious problem. You could argue that streamers already put themselves out there, but what about kids who don't realize this is happening? Exposing real names unnecessarily creates a risk of stalking or harassment, and worst of all, it adds nothing to the game. It's just bad design. Tarzland wasn't fun, and by now I'm sure you figured that out. But since one of the categories I rank games on is their fun factor, I have to say it again. This game just isn't enjoyable. If you've been playing Tarzland for a while and feel differently, let me know down in the comments. I'm extremely curious to hear your thoughts. I also don't plan on returning to Tarzland. There's no update, patch, or content that developers could add that would make me interested enough to come back to this game. Because the only thing I can credit Tarzland for is getting into the game quickly and the fact that it's easy to invite a friend, Tarzland only scores a 2 out of 10, placing it in F tier. Had I not been playing this game for a review video, I can honestly say I would have quit after a few minutes. I was really waiting for it to get better, but the fun never came.
I saw a
bad game
once. I didn't know until halfway in. The
fun
never came. The
fun
never came! I am freaking out!
If for some reason you're still thinking about trying Tarzland, I've added links to the store page in the description. If you like this video or agree with the F tier rating, hit that like button. If you have a free-to-play game that you'd like me to review, or if you plan to play Tarzland, let me know down in the comments. Also, don't forget to click the video link on your screen, because the next game might be your new favorite.